Level 1, the engagement dinner. You're 24, broke, 6 months into dating Elise Cole, and you're sitting at her parents' dining table for the first time since the ring went on her finger. Her father, Whitman Cole, built a mid-size construction supply company from nothing, or at least that's the version of the story he tells at dinner parties. The version where the first 10 years of struggle got compressed into one sentence, and the last 20 years of comfort got the other 45 minutes. He shakes your hand a bit too long, like he's testing the grip strength of a man he's already decided isn't strong. "So," he says, cutting into his steak without looking up, "what do you do again?" "I'm in logistics coordination. Warehouse side, for now." "For now," he repeats, and smiles at Elise's mother like they've just confirmed something between them. Some private joke they've clearly had at your expense, before you ever sat down at this table. After dinner, he pulls you into his study, a room that smells like cedar and old cigars, with a wall of framed photos of himself shaking hands with men in suits, and hands you a small box. Inside is a scuffed money clip, silver plating worn through to brass at the corners. "This was my first one," he says. "Held $40, back when $40 mattered. Every man's gotta start somewhere." He claps your shoulder like he's just given you a diploma. It isn't a gift, it's a place marker. The spot he expects you to occupy for a long time, maybe permanently, filed neatly under the one Elise settled for. Elise finds you in the hallway after. "Don't let him get to you," she says. "He does this to everyone." You put the clip in your coat pocket and don't say what you're thinking. That he doesn't do this to everyone. He does it to people he's already decided he can afford to. If you've ever been talked down to at a table you were supposed to feel welcome at, tell me in the comments. This gets more uncomfortable from here. Level 2, the wedding. 18 months later, you're standing at the altar in a suit you bought on a payment plan, and Whitman is giving the father of the bride toast. "When Elise told us she was marrying a warehouse coordinator," he says, glass raised, laughing like it's a joke everyone's in on, "I said, well, at least he'll always know where the boxes are." The room laughs. Elise squeezes your hand under the table. You laugh too, because what else do you do? At the reception, Elise's mother tells you, not unkindly, "We just want her taken care of." You want to say you're trying. You don't. Level 3, the starter house. 3 years in, you and Elise buy a rundown 2-bedroom 40 minutes outside the city. The only thing your combined income can carry. A house with a leaking roof and a kitchen from 3 decades ago that you tell yourselves you'll renovate eventually. You've started building something on the side, a small logistics tracking tool for independent truckers, built at your kitchen table after Elise goes to sleep, mostly out of frustration with how badly the tools at your old warehouse job worked. It's not much yet. 200 users, mostly word of mouth from drivers who found it on a forum. Then Whitman calls. Not Elise, you. First time that's ever happened in 6 years of knowing him. "I want in on something," he says, and there's no steak-cutting condescension in it this time. None of the, "for now," from the dinner table years ago. "Not the company, this thing you're building. 8,000 gets me a piece of it before it's worth anything, doesn't it?" You almost laugh, except he's serious. Whitman Cole, who has never once asked what your job actually involves, wants to buy into the thing you built out of frustration with your old job. Some part of you doesn't want him owning any piece of it, so you tell him no. He goes quiet. Then he offers you $8,000 as a loan instead. "No interest," he says. "Just pay me back if this thing starts making money." If you hear the word, you take the money. 18 months later, you repay every dollar 3 months ahead of schedule. Whitman confirms the transfer with a 2-word text. Got it. You stare at the message. For 6 years, Whitman always had something to say about you. The first proof he might be wrong earns 2 words. No congratulations. No question about the platform. Nothing. That's the first time you understand that Whitman noticing you and Whitman respecting you are 2 completely different things. And you've only ever been offered the first one. Level 4, the family dinner. Your tracking tool crosses 10,000 users. You quit the warehouse job. Whitman's company is doing exactly what it's always done. Steady, comfortable, unremarkable. But at a family dinner that winter, something shifts that has nothing to do with his numbers and everything to do with yours. "What do you think?" he says, turning to you mid-meal, in front of Elise's mother, in front of Grant, about expanding into the Midwest. "I've been going back and forth on it for the company. 6 years earlier, he barely registered what you did for a living. Now he's asking your opinion on his own business, at his own table, in front of his own family. You give him an honest answer, something about regional freight margins, nothing revolutionary, and he nods slowly, like he's filing it away as something worth having heard. Later, in the kitchen, you mention it to Elise. He's never asked me anything before, not once. He watches the news about your platform more than you think, she says. He mentioned the regional carrier deal to his golf friends before you even told me about it. He didn't hear it from me. I know. That's what got his attention. You stopped needing him to notice you, and that's exactly when he started. You think about the money clip sitting in your desk drawer, and how it was never really about the $40 it once held. It was about who got to decide the terms of the room. For 6 years, Whitman decided them without even trying. A shrug at dinner, a joke at a wedding, a study door that opened only when he wanted it to. Tonight, for the first time, you watch him wait for you to finish a sentence before he responds to it. He doesn't know he's doing it. That's exactly how you know it's real. Level 5. The family business. Your platform closes a partnership with 2 regional carriers. You have money now, not help with rent money, real money, and everyone in the family knows it, even though nobody says it out loud at dinner. Whitman's company is fine, unchanged, still his. Nothing about your family's financial architecture has cracked. Only the ceiling above it has moved, and you're now standing above where he's always stood. Grant, Elise's older brother, calls you directly one afternoon. Not Elise, you. I'm putting together a real estate group, he says. Warehousing and distribution space. Actually, pretty on brand for you. Dad's in for a piece. I wanted you in before I opened it up to anyone outside the family. Have you talked to Elise about this? I'm talking to you. You realize, sitting there on the phone, that the family has quietly reclassified you. Not the outsider anymore. Not the warehouse guy with the empty money clip. You're now the guy whose name goes on the deal to make it credible, which is a different kind of outsider, but an outsider all the same. You pass on the investment. Grant doesn't ask why. He just asks if you'll at least look over the paperwork before anyone signs, since, as he puts it, you'd know what to look for better than any of us would. Level 6. The introduction. At Elise's mother's 60th birthday, you watch her introduce you to a table of her friends. Not, this is Elise's husband, the way she's done it for a decade. This time it's, he built that freight platform I told you about. The one working with the regional carriers. Your name comes second. What you built comes first. Whitman finds you by the drink table later that night, and for the first time there's no test in his handshake. I need to ask you something, he says, and his voice doesn't have the stake-cutting confidence in it. None of the study room authority from the money clip all those years ago. There's an investor group I've been trying to get in front of for months. Can't get a meeting. You know people who know people. You sit with the question a second longer than you need to, mostly because you want him to feel it, the way he let silences sit whenever you asked him for anything over the years. You don't need my money, you say. You need my name on the introduction. I know exactly what I'm asking for. It's the most honest sentence he's ever said to you. Not a joke about boxes, not a test disguised as a handshake, not a story about the first $40 he ever held. Just a grown man asking another grown man for something he can't get on his own. The same thing you once needed from him at that first dinner and never got. Level 7. The final reckoning. You drive out to see him that weekend instead of calling. No warning. You just show up with 2 coffees like it's any other Saturday. He's on the porch, doing yard work he clearly doesn't need to be doing himself anymore, sleeves rolled up, sweating through a shirt that used to fit him better. I made the introduction, you tell him. The meeting's yours to earn from there. I'm not vouching beyond the door. He nods slowly, like he expected exactly that and had already made peace with it before you arrived. That's more than fair, he says. Then, after a moment, you paid back that $8,000 early. You noticed? I noticed. He looks out at the water instead of at you. You kept the money clip, he says. Not a question. He saw it once, years back, still sitting in your top desk drawer, and it clearly bothered him more than he ever let on. I did. Why? It's not worth anything. It wasn't supposed to be. That was never the point of it. He doesn't apologize. Men like Whitman rarely do. Not directly. Not in so many words. But he asks you to stay for dinner that night, at his table this time. Not the old dining room with the framed handshake photos. A small table on the porch, 2 plates, no toasts, no jokes about warehouses or boxes. Elise joins later, catches the 2 of you actually laughing about something small and stupid, and doesn't ask what it was. She just sits down across from her father, the same seat she's had her whole life. Except now you're the one he asks for advice, not the other way around. And for once, nobody at the table is keeping score. The money clip stays in the drawer. You never give it back, and you never throw it out either. Some things you don't return because the debt was never really about the object. It was about which one of you got to decide, in the end, who owed who. Every story on this channel is designed to change the way you think about money. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.